So, since you've shown interest and some of you asked, I'm going to show you the transformation for the old Sheriff Shinestar Lego Transformer. So, first things first, we've got his musket here nestled in the back. You see it's wedged in between the wheels and it's clipped to the back of the head, but you can easily remove it, and the whole thing just transforms and unfolds into a long musket that fits into the tiny hands of the sheriff. And you can have him wield it with one hand, or you can have it wielded with two hands, like I've shown before in that picture I've made, and it's quite long and cumbersome. I'm kind of afraid it will wear down the ball joint in the shoulder, but it looks really cool. And you see I've used the flagpole, so you can put a muzzle flash at the tip of it, so you can transform this and set it off to the side for the transformation. Another thing that he has got going are his bottle blades, which unfold from the parts of the cover that are on his arms, just to employ some of that big empty space that he has on the outside of his arms. And these are his bottle blades. They're a bit thick, but they work. They are his default melee weapon. Since I've been able to build a musket only recently, I had to settle with these as weapons. Also, as I've already stated, because when you've got it in standard robot mode, you've got all this empty light gray space on the outside of his arms, and I wanted to do something with it. So that's it for the weapons. Transformation is as follows. First off, you want to flip up the mustache so that it covers the eyes at least, and you want to come around the back and flip out this tiny door. This is supposed to be the back door for the wagon mode. Now, you've got to come around here and rotate these plates so that the detail that they show is squared instead of, circular. So come around, there's plenty of space to do that. It seems cumbersome, but there's actually quite a lot of room to do that. And you can rotate the head of the sheriff 180 degrees. It's on a turntable for this. It's also very useful when you're doing that pose with the two-handed rifle so that he can aim it around. Now, lift up the shoulder pads, fold the cover out of the way, and you want to swing the arms like this and the hands like this. Now you can fold this up. It's just to keep the head from spinning around wildly while I'm doing the arms. And you want to peg the hands on these black jumper plates that are supposed to represent a belt. I've tried putting some brown ones instead of the black ones, but he just looks naked without the belt, so I've settled on the black ones. Now you want to fold the shoulder pad. It was, some way like this. You want to fold it like this, so that these tile will hold up and in place the cover. Do the same on the other arm, and don't mind my rambling, I'm just very happy to show you the way that this guy works. So you fold the shoulder pad like this, the cover like this, and you want to peg the hand onto the waist, onto the belt, like so. And you want to clip the back part of the cover. And you see it's really easy. The body of the sheriff is actually flat. It's all in service of, providing the bed for the inside part of the wagon, because I wanted this to be a functional wagon that could actually transport things. Now for the legs, this is my favorite part of the transformation. You want to take him laying down, spread out the legs, rotate them around on the ball joint, and you see there's a hinge here. And you want to fold this piece 90 degrees. Not like this, but like this. And you want to fold out all the cover from the inside of the leg. Normally this is the inside of the leg, which would be quite hollow without the cover, filling up. But now you want to fold it all the way up, and you want to close it onto the side, and you want this hinge that is 90 degrees bent to fit into this gap right here. But to do this, you have to flip the barrels out of the way. They are on tiny ball joints, those maxi figure hands. You want to fold them out of the way, and you may think that there's not enough room, but I've actually done my Lego math, and it fits quite nicely. Now this sometimes comes off, but the room for the hinge is there. Let's try to do this one a bit more cleanly. Here you go. And you want to clip the cover at the front. Now, the two halves, four actually, because there's one on each arm and one for each leg, parts of the cover that actually clip together. They clip together in pairs, legs with legs, arms with arms. But they do provide the room for storing things. Now, we're almost done. You just want to flip the wheels into position, and I'm sorry if you've seen some parts unplug or come off, but it's just very hard to do on a camera. I'm doing it on a flip phone camera, so it's pretty hard to do it like this. You want to fold the door closed, fold the barrels into position. They don't peg in, but they fit in due to the shape of the fit. And you fold the front wheels. They will click into position, and you flip up the arm rests, and you go. Now these are a bit out of shape, but if you push them, they'll go. Okay. And you've got Sheriff Shinestar in his wagon mode. Now you can play around a bit with the cover to have it some other way, but I like it this way. Now these things will end up facing down, but there's little you can do about them. If you want to keep them facing upwards, you can push them with your fingers, but that's the way it is. Now you bring in the rider. You want to take him off the horse, and what I like to do is I take the musket off, clip it into the side of the horse, and you take this 2x1 off from the horse, and I usually peg it right here, because this way it will fit on the reins. Normally that black 2x1 will always end up stuck here on this brown piece, and it's quite annoying, so I decided to put a jumper plate inside the horse so that you can peg it normally and don't have it come off. And for the musket, you can quite comfortably fit it into the wagon itself. You can wedge it in there, but then again, I've made my math. It fits perfectly. Here you go. It doesn't come around the back because the opening is smaller. It would never fit out of here, but you can take it out from the front. Before the musket, I had a Lego chest with gold bars inside that would fit perfectly in and out, but it was a momentary solution just to have something fit in the wagon. And you can put the rider on, and there you go. And as you can see, the wagon actually rolls quite well on my parquet, because there's nothing in the way of the wheels. Even if it looks very busy, these big wooden wheels are actually free to roll. Even if there's the horse, scratching along the floor, it doesn't make a difference. He rolls quite well. And you have the gimmick, the interaction with the minifigure. If you want to pull down this little door on the back, which wagons actually have a door around the back to load and unload the cargo. You have the water barrels here that are made in gray, just so they stand out a little more. They break up the color scheme, and Unfortunately, you have the top of the hat sticking out, but there's no way to hide it. And I wanted to keep the cowboy hat as much as I could. I even put a little, Autobot sticker on there, so that's gonna stay. And the musket for the minifigure has to sit around here on the horse because there's no room for it to hold it if you want him to sit in a natural position, but I like the way he sits even though there's these raised joints that flip down the armrests. So all in all, it's a pretty optimized build in my opinion. The only thing is the shoulder arm connection with this piece, which is a 2x1 brick with a hole in the middle and a post with a ball joint. They sometimes do come off, but there's no way to get the proper distance from the body, from the rest of the cover, and keep that level of articulation. So I think it's gonna stick with that. And after a while, it's like 11 minutes of constant rambling, we have Sheriff Shinestar in vehicle mode. I hope you've all enjoyed. Have a good night!